Hey y'all, it's Leslie, and I'm here today to show you a embellishment for a baby album. And if you do pocket letters or the loaded envelopes or the loaded embellishment boxes or anything like this, you could also make this just be a wand, you know, a little shaker wand. So you wouldn't have to put the part on the bottom. So it could be a shaker wand or a shaker rattle. And I made this for my daughter's, sorry about that, my daughter's mini album that was the baby album. And I also used this as the corsage for her to wear at the baby shower. So I just added a little bit of burlap ribbon twine to it and put that for her for the shower. So today we're going to make one of these so you'll know how to do it. We're going to start with whatever your pattern paper is that you're going to use, and you're going to need some punches. And I used the 1 1/4 inch circle punch. Hey guys. And then I used the scallop punch, and this is these are both Stampin' Up! Old versions. You can find these in EK Success. This is probably a 2-inch scallop circle. Okay, you're going to cut one piece of a 1 1/4 inch circle out of your pattern paper. And you want to go in a little ways into your paper so that what we're going to do is we're going to cut the hole. Then we're going to come in with the scallop circle so that we can evenly distribute that circle inside the scallop. It's a lot easier to do that than to cut the scallop and then try to do the hole. Because, you know, you have this piece right here, and to get it to go into your punch is a little difficult. Okay, that's another point. For your back piece, like on mine, I have it so that you can, maybe you can see, yes, you can see my fingers moving in and out back there. So I have acetate on the front and the back, plastic packaging on the front and the back. You could do it so that the back is solid. And that's what I'm going to do today because I've got a different plan for this one. And it's never going to be seen from the inside. This one I have on a window on the album so you can see through both sides of the of this embellishment. So I have this set up so that you can see both sides. Because of that, I wanted it to be clear on both sides. Okay, so we're going to use the 1 1/4 inch circle and punch out a hole. Let's go on this side. And we're going to go in a little ways. Easier if you kind of back off just a little bit. There we go. Save this piece because this piece can be used at the bottom of the rattle if you're making a rattle. If you're not making a rattle, save this piece and use it for something else. But this is, you know, a good piece. I also used, just in case you wanted to know, I used this punch from Stampin' Up! It's called 3 Hearts, and it is retired. I am sure of it. But it is a great punch, or any kind of heart punch, because I got a couple of different sizes here. You can even use die cuts or your Cricut or your Silhouette. Okay. So now that I have punched my circle, let's get to the meat of the matter here. We're going to take the scallop circle and just like you see there, I'm going to go in upside down. And using your punches upside down is a whole lot better than using them right side up. Most of the time, you know, people go in like this, and you may not, you know, it may not matter, and you can just go in and punch out a shape. But if you will turn your punch around, you can get your punch as close to the other one as possible without any of it getting cut, I almost did it. There. And look how close it was. But if I had done it this way, I would have had to have been farther away because I would have been nervous about being so close. Okay. I did say we were getting to the meat of the matter, didn't I? I'm a teacher, retired teacher. Okay, so you see how I've evenly got the circle in the center here. Even if you don't do it evenly, I've got one right here. It's off-centered. It looks just as good, promise. Okay, so I've got this one, and I'm going to punch now. And now I have my scallop ring. Okay? Now, some people will do multiples of these. And that way it fills up the space from here to here. I'll show you what I did. So in between my first scallop and my back scallop, I just put my foam tape, I'll show you that in a moment, and then I put baker's twine to fill in that space. So I just wrapped it through. This space inside there was not rounded, and so I just did the best I could, and you can't even tell. On the bottom, I think you can tell how it's more squared off. But when you're looking at it, you're not really looking at that. But I just didn't want the foam tape to show. I thought that would really stand out. But the fact that those aren't rounded doesn't really... Yeah, you can see that. It doesn't really matter. Okay. What I was saying is some people do multiples of this element right here. And then they can stack them up. And the top one would get the punch. Now, for the acetate, for the clear plastic piece here, there's 2 or 3 ways you can do this. You can use actual transparencies. And because I've already been punching on this transparency, it's really easy for me just to go ahead and do another one. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to punch it just like that. Now, your punches will punch through transparency paper pretty easily. I mean, you saw how easy that was. And you get a successful result. But you could also use clear packaging. This has got a sticker on it. Let me see another piece right here. Okay. Here's some clear packaging. Let me cut a piece off here. This had a score tape bundle in it, it says, where I bought a pack of score tape. So I'm just cutting off a section here. Now, you can use your punch and punch this and use this as your window instead of using acetate, using packaging. You can use plastic packaging from something that's a little harder. So you could get a stiffer package like this. It's a little harder plastic, and that would be fine because it's a perfect clear, flat surface. And that's what you're looking for, something that's clear and flat. Now, if you're going to use this sort of plastic for your window sheet, let me show you something you need to do. You need to take a piece of scrap paper, and this is something that my printer put out, and I'm going to put this inside of my scrap paper here, down on the end. Whoops, let me get back on camera. So I'm going to put this inside my scrap paper down on the end here. Let me trim this off too. Could have turned it around the other way, couldn't I? And now I'll be able to cut that. But my advice to you is to do one layer at a time. Let's try it. with the 2 layers and see if it works. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my scallop punch. Going in with my scallop punch. There's paper on the back and the front here. And punch. Went right through. What happens is if I tried to do this with just my scallop punch, I'll show you what happens. The plastic slips and it doesn't want to cut. Do you see how it's wanting to just mash, and then it makes a tangled mess and doesn't cut well and gives you very ragged edges? I don't think you can see that on the edge. Maybe you can. Anyway, it's very ragged and not pretty at all. And it's just a blooming mess. But by adding the paper, your punch punches through the paper and thinks the middle plastic part is just part of the paper, and it makes a perfectly beautiful scallop every time. So you've got more options. If you don't have window sheets at home, or I think that's what Stampin' Up calls them, if you don't have acetate or transparencies, find a piece of packaging from something. You want to make sure it's a kind of thin packaging, like, you know, off of flowers kind of thing. Okay. Well, that was a fail and a success. So flower packaging, tape packaging, that works perfectly. Okay, let's continue on with our project. So you're going to take your piece that has the hole in it, and you're going to glue your acetate piece, your plastic piece, to it. And I just used art glitter glue. It doesn't really matter unless you're going to be handling a lot, then it would definitely matter. For my purposes, this is going to be an embellishment on a project, and it's going to be still. If yours is going to be handled a lot, you know, held and shaped and put inside of a pocket letter so it could be pulled out and looked at and that sort of thing, I would use Fabri-Tac. Fabri-Tac or some sort of clear acetone based glue. Put tape on this outside edge. The way I do that is I take, here it is, I take a strip of foam tape and I cut it into 3 separate strips. Okay, this is about 3/8 of an inch wide. So you just want it to be thin enough so that when it goes around the circle, it's going to be not seen on the edges of the scallop. And you've got such a small area that you can put it, you know, I just cut it into little strips. Now, each one of these, you're going to take it with your scissors and you're going to cut little slits in it without going all the way through. So, do you see there? It went, well, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Maybe. Let's try it this way. So, do you see? I cut a slit about 3/4 of the way through. Yeah, now you can see. Okay. And we're going to do that all the way down. If you go all the way through, don't worry about it. It's no problem. But it makes the going around in a circle, all these little slits make it easier for your foam tape to go in the circle, in a circular shape. You can cut small pieces of foam tape and stick them all going around. That's perfectly fine as well. But I found that this is the easiest and most secure way for me to get the tape all the way around. So I'm going to leave that sitting right there for a moment. I have another one that is already done and ready. And I'm going to get the what am I going to get? I don't remember. Okay, so let's just continue. We're going to do this foam tape, and I'm going to go, I drew a circle around, traced around the circle for this back, but you could also just add it to the front here, either way. Now I remember what I was going to do. Before you put the foam tape on, you want to put your stick in. Your stick can be just a barbecue skewer that you've trimmed down. Your Tim Holtz scissors work great for that. Your stick could be a lollipop stick or a cake pop stick. These are made of rolled paper, and again, your Tim Holtz scissors work great to, you know, cut that out. Well, I just whacked that to the window. And you could also use a Q-tip, and for me today I'm going to use a Q-tip just to show you that that would work just as well. This one happens to have a blue shank stick here. I have trimmed the cotton, but not all of it, because it just, oh, it wouldn't come off the other day. Oh, okay, never mind. Look at it, now it comes off, of course, because I'm on video. So now I have the stick, and I can put it in here, and I can run my foam tape all the way around to it. I'm going to put my stick on this front side so that I'll know where it is, and I need my Fabri-Tac for this. Because this is a plastic stick and I'm putting it on a plastic piece, I definitely want to use my Fabri-Tac for this one. Okay, so I'm going to do a little dollop of glue here. Okay, so now I have that on there. That'll dry and hold really nicely. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this foam tape that I have added the little slits to, and I'm going to go around the circle, trying not to go into the clear area. I'm trying to stay on the outside of the circle. It's not going to be a huge problem if you go a little bit on the inside, or if it's seen a little, because your glitter and things is going to stick to it. Just, there's no way to stop it, so just get ready for that. Okay, I've got a little piece right here, so I'm going to cut, well, I'm going to start over here first, and then I will cut it. So as I'm going around, I guess I should tell you that, you can see, well, no, you can't see, can you? I'm putting the slit, the torn part, to the outside. That allows this to go into a circular shape, you see? And all these are cut in there, and so it would allow it to go in the circular shape. So I'm just going to butt these very, very closely together. Excuse my head if it happens to get in there. There we go. And then I can continue my circle. I guess I could turn this around so I could see a little better. There we go. Now I can see what I'm doing. Oh, I almost have a mess there. There we go. Okay, now as I get to the end here, I'm going to trim it right next to the stick. I can take this little piece and add it on the other side. Oops. Okay, now for my purposes, for me, because I'm a little don't like glitter everywhere. I'm not a glittery girl. So what I like to do is go in and fill in the space next to my stick. Can you see that there is a tiny little gap here? There is, just a little bit. My stick point can go in there. And if my stick point can go in there, this ultra fine glitter that we're going to use, it definitely can go in there. So I'm going to be adding a lot of glue in there to make sure that I fill that. Oops. a lot of glue in there to make sure I fill that when I put my back on. Now, before you put your back on, you need to add your things for the inside. I've got a little piece of foam tape showing there, so I'm going to put this here. For the foam tape, I use leftover sheets from file labels or mailing labels. I keep this sheet and I will cut off a piece of it to put the foam tape on, and that's what I did. I just cut a piece of this and used it. Okay, for your glitter, at Dollar Tree you can find these little nail glitters. These are seed beads and glitters, and there's even little sequins. These happen to be, oops, little flower sequins, if you can see that. So you can add these inside there, and of course regular sequins go in as well. You can add mica powders. This again came from Dollar Tree, and it is a whole big pack of mica powder, cheap as you can get, and just completely awesome. So the catch is, if you use mica powders, you could possibly have make a film over the top of it. So you want to kind of make a cloudiness where the mica is sticking to your plastic sheet. So you want to keep that in mind. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of my glitter now. Actually, I forgot. I'm not going to do glitter on this one. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm going to add a little seed beads because I do want a little bit of something going in there. Can we? Guess what? We're not using that. We are going to use glitter. And glitter goes everywhere. It's ultra fine glitter, so it's really going to go everywhere. Okay. Still be on camera, but I don't want to deal with that glitter. Okay, so I'm going to use some little letter stickers. I'm going to add a heart that I punched out and inked the edges. I'm going to add it in here, just so that it floats around in there. I have a little wooden heart like this, and it's going to float around, I hope. And then I have letters, B, A, B, and Y. And these are just ones that I picked up again at Dollar Tree. They have them little square ones, and then they've had the round ones. And so I picked up a package of those. It had all letters, A, B, and Y. Now, I could glue these to the back here, and then it would always say baby. But I think what I want to do is just let them, you know, kind of just go around in there like this, you know, and people know that it's supposed to spell baby. Okay, so now we need to add our back. And the way I do that is take off all this here. Oh, there's glitter everywhere, people. I wish you... Well, I'm about to sneeze from it. Okay, now I'm going to add Fabri-Tac again. Oh, woo! Alright, now take your Fabri-Tac and you're going to give yourself a little bit here. And for general purposes, I go around to the top of my foam tape a little bit. Because again, I don't like glitter everywhere, even though I'm getting glitter everywhere. Okay, now I'm going to take this one and put it over the top here. And I'm going to try and line it up with the one on the front the best I can. And I do that just by finding one scallop there. I think we're pretty good. And then I'm going to press it around. Those little letters beads are a little bit taller than the actual foam tape. So I've got to make sure that I press around, make sure that it's touching on all sides. Yeah, looks good, looks good, looks good. Okay, because baby was spelled wrong when my stick was down here, you know, it's Y-B-A-B, then I'm going to take my stick out. Those letters aren't really moving around in there. And I'm going to put it in on this side, okay? So, I'm going to just poke it in here. So that it's in between my two pieces without going to the center. Do you see how I went into the center now? I need to pull back. There we go. And now I'm going to add glue, and I'm just going to use art glitter glue and go in there next to the stick. The foam tape's going to hold it. There's still some wet Fabri-Tac in there, and this is just to give it a little extra hold. I also used the art glitter glue, and I came where the stick used to be, and I put in a filler, you know, dollop there. And now my glitter's moving. My hearts have glued themselves to the plastic because I was shaking. But I do get a little bit of movement in there. There we go. We got some movement. Over time it'll move a little bit more. It's definitely glued down right now. Okay, do as I say, not as I do, because you won't have a problem because your hands don't shake. Now, for the bottom, I'm going to take 2 of the circles. One is going to go on the back like this. I'm going to use a little bit of Fabri-Tac for the stick. Do a little bit on top and a little bit underneath. Okay, stop coming out. There we go. And I'm going to use foam tape to give me the space in between the 2 pieces. And this time you can just cut little pieces of foam tape.
This is why it ends up being not really circular on the bottom, and that's because your foam tape makes basically a rectangle down here instead of, oh jeez, I got all in that glue, man. Jeez, what in the world? Okay, am I on camera? Jeez, Leslie.
My other circle has the hearts on it, and I'm going to put it on here, like matching up the bottom as much as I can. If it doesn't match perfectly, it's okay.
There you go.
Then you can add a bow or ribbon or a little bow tie, since this one's for a boy, like that. And you have your shaker rattle.
Okay, and once this all dries, it will be more secure.
And you add your bows and make it be an embellishment. Okay. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for hanging in there with me as I shake, rattle, and roll with my fingers as well as the shaker rattle. So we'll see you soon. Please make sure that you subscribe and click the bell beside the subscribe button. That way you can be notified of my videos. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. That way I'll know the kind of videos you enjoy. Also, if you could leave me a comment and let me know what are some things you'd like to know how to do. Let me know. I'm going to be expanding my channel a little bit. I'm going to start some art journaling and do some fun things that way. And so leave me a comment below and let me know the things you'd like to see me do. All right. Thanks.